Hello and welcome to the Jerich Show. We don't have Eric today because he is off in the Bahamas, but we do have, or I do have, the regular mix of stories and action you've come to love and expect from this show.
Welcome to the Jerich Show, featuring your hosts Javad Malik and Eric Crone. Timely topics, poorly presented.
So let's jump straight into it. Eric is off in the Bahamas, and I asked him whether he wanted to dial in and be part of the show today, and he just sent me this picture saying, something that I can't repeat on air, but that was him. So he did say he would send me some clips to put into this, so we'll see how that turns out. But let's jump straight into the first story of the day. And we often talk about ransomware, and ransomware is one of those things that we hate talking about it now because it just feels oversaturated, and it feels like every single news story we hear today is somehow related to ransomware. And one of the reasons for that, I think, is that ransomware is now a core component in nearly all cybercrime. Whether or not the actual ransom and the extortion is part of the big plan, that's almost irrelevant, but it's a great way to burn down a building, to get people to take notice. So unless you're going full on espionage, you're going to have an element of ransomware. Anyway, rural Alabama electric cooperative hit by a ransomware attack. This is just interesting, not because it's rural Alabama, but because it's a electric provider, a utility provider, critical national infrastructure, whatever all those good terms are. So the story, it's in Security Week, and they go like it serves about, Wiregrass Electric Cooperative serves about 25,000 members. And the interesting thing, apparently they did not pay a ransom and didn't have any data compromised in the attack. I suppose if you want to be cynical, you could say they didn't have any data compromise that they know of right now. But they said that they took systems offline for maintenance as a precaution, and that the technicians were working to re-establish customer sites. So they sent our IT guys, spent all weekend out of abundance of caution, looking at every server, every laptop, every computer, everything. So that's what you would expect from a good incident response strategy. Eric, what do you think?
I just really don't care.
Okay, so now I know what Eric meant by he said he'll chip in with some clips. Moving on, we move over to Hong Kong, where they are proposing a new privacy law where they want to make it illegal to dox anyone. And doxing is a bit of an issue around the world, and there are different use cases in which it's more damaging than others. Hong Kong, Fui saw a lot of doxing taking place during their protests not too long ago. So there was on both sides of the equation, there was pro-democracy, anti-democracy, whatever. They're all arguing, and lots of politicians and prominent people were being doxed in the process, and as a result, many people were physically attacked or abused or felt unsafe and what have you. So they thought, well, okay, what's the best way we can protect people or prevent this? Is let's make doxing illegal. Now, tech giants, including Google, Facebook, and Twitter, even Apple, I believe, that they would maybe stop offering services to Hong Kong if the city moves forward with laws to impose penalties. The Asia Internet Coalition, which counts 3 major companies as well as Apple and LinkedIn as members, wrote to Hong Kong Privacy Commission to warn that privacy laws could see undefined severe sanctions against individuals for so-called doxing were not aligned with global norms and trends. The only way to avoid these sanctions for technology companies would be to refrain from investing and offering their services in Hong Kong, therefore depriving Hong Kong business and consumers, whilst also creating new barriers to trade, the letter said. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't see really much benefit to doxing. I can't see why preventing doxing or making it illegal is a bad thing. I suppose what these companies are afraid of is where do you draw the line between someone sharing public information or someone claiming to dox someone or claiming that someone's doxed them when they haven't been, or historical things. There's all sorts of, I suppose, nuance there, which is probably what the organizations are trying to avoid. But I don't really understand. Okay, so they go on to say this is a completely disproportionate and unnecessary response to doxing, given that intermediaries are neutral platforms with no editorial control over the doxing posts and are not the persons publishing personal data, it said. So, okay, so it says that the language of the legislation would subject intermediaries and local subsidiaries to criminal investigations and prosecution for doxing offence, including for not removing material from platforms. So, okay, it makes a bit of sense now why they are against it. So, I think the intent is fine. I don't know. Leave comments below if you or email Eric if you disagree strongly. But yeah, doxing is a problem and it does need to be addressed. But we can't hold the platforms responsible because I don't think there's any technology or automation or anything in place that you could use to prevent it. But also, we live in this world where people are willingly giving away tons of information of their own themselves. Eric, this is normally where I turn to you. Say, what do you think?
I just really don't care.
Yep, I thought as such. Anyway, we'll end with a bit of good story, a feel-good story today. There's a hacker called Dr HeX, who was a cyber criminal mastermind. Well, mastermind might be stretching it, but they were involved in a lot of crime of the cyber variety. They primarily targeted French speakers around the world with phishing campaigns. They created phishing exploit kits, stole financial information, financial fraud, traded data on underground forums. Not a nice person. However, like many people, Dr. HeX was Dr. HeX, a person. And so you get familiar with how one person talks, what their code looks like, their modus operandi, and all that kind of stuff. So they left the same fingerprints. They left their same email address in a lot of their code. The Dr. HeX brand, for lack of a better term, was there. So it led investigators. Group IB led a lot of the investigations. They found YouTube channel. They found an Arabic crowdfunding platform. They found 2 domains registered with the same email address, which includes a phishing kit, and total of 5 email accounts, 6 nicknames, and the suspects' YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Skype accounts were discovered. So it's safe to say that while they might have been a criminal mastermind, they weren't an OPSEC mastermind. As a result, the global cooperation law enforcement got together, and the citizen who resides in Morocco was arrested by Moroccan police, who are now beating the truth out of them. Well, I don't know whether they're beating up. That's a very bad statement of me to make, but they're currently asking him very nicely, what did you do? Why did you do it? Give us the details.
I just really don't care.
And with that, it's a bit of a short but sweet roundup. You've got all the goodness without any of the fluff. So hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want this to continue to be a solo project. It's far more easier for me, far more fun. And we will see you next week on the usual time with the same bat time, same bat channel. Stay secure, my friends.
I just really don't care.